let's get it.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, literally on the globe. So happy to have you here with us for this monthly meeting of the Microsoft Global Community. We are thrilled to be here with you. As you can tell, I am not your normal host, Heather Cook. I am Carrot Wanagatimu, and Heather is at another event this morning. Actually covering for me. We swapped. So she is in Denver and I am here with all of you. I'm happy to be here. Let's just go ahead and hop on in. Give me a thumbs up if this is your first MGCI meeting. Let me know how many new folks I've got out there. That would be great. Wonderful. Well, welcome new folks. We're happy that you're here. We like to welcome everyone. So we have a digital code of conduct and want to make sure that we're welcoming and appropriate with everyone. There's always more information on that if you need it. This global community initiative that is run by the community and just supported by Microsoft is all about you, your events, and being able to train you and share great content with you so that you can have a local community in your area. So we are training community organizers over here, and more folks can sign up. It's free for everyone. ak.ms/MGCI. Always happy to have more people join. And that's how you get the newsletter with links to all the great resources that we have available for you. And I am going to take control real quickly here. Thank you, sir. Okay, here we go. And today we're going to have some subcommittee updates, and we have a fantastic person here with us, Adam, who is going to give you an awesome demo on Loop and some new collaboration tools. We got updates on our community site, communitydays.org, and all the awesome community events that we have around the world. So it's going to be fantastic. We're an open community meeting, so we always welcome conversation. Put your hand up if you've got questions or put it in the chat. And while Adam is presenting, I will make sure to pay attention to the chat for you. We always amplify our events here and do event production training as well. So if you've ever wanted to host an event in your local area, you're in the right place because we do dedicated trainings for new community organizers on a regular basis, led by some of our regional directors. And they're people who are just like you, community members out there and MVPs doing all sorts of cool stuff. So you could always get more training on that here, as well as training on the technology and other things. Yes, lots of good reasons to join. Let me give you a look here. These are our board officers. So again, these are all community members out there who have been driving community for a very long time and were nominated to our board. We have one of them with us today, Tom Daly, who is the steward of communitydays.org. And here are other board officers, Wes and Sharon. They're all such fun people and so dedicated to everybody really making sure to get the most out of the resources that Microsoft supports delivering. We have general sessions the third Tuesday of every month, and we always like to have folks here. And we do them at AM and PM times, so 8 a.m. Pacific and 5:10 p.m. Pacific. And we have a little list of some of the topics that we have coming up, which is always fun. We're working on our May one next, so that's going to be announced shortly. And you could always, we always record these meetings as well. So if you weren't able to join us and you signed up for MGCI, you will have access to the recording so that you can get all that information. And if you want to be a presenter, we'd love to have you. You can sign up and present your topic. Maybe you are running a user group or promoted an event in some way, or maybe you have a specific part of the technology that you'd like to share with your fellow community members. We are always welcome to have folks here, so we appreciate that. We have a new home. On the Microsoft Tech Community. So if you're not familiar, the Microsoft Tech Community is our large portal where we have forums for every major product and then links to some of the ones that live in other places like developer.microsoft.com. And we have a new home there. And that's where you'll find news and information. Our blog is there. And so definitely go and enjoy that. Make sure that you are signing into the Microsoft Tech community, filling in your profile, because that's one of the ways you can contribute and eventually maybe become a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, MVP, if you're interested. But you have to sign in to do that. So there are the links for you there so you can get to the blogs, the discussion area, and the listings of our events as we make this transition over to the MTC from where you are in the community tenant today. Again, lots of good stuff that's out there and available for you. My team also has the pleasure of delivering adoption.microsoft.com. And we always have so many cool new things happening on adoption.microsoft.com. That is your one-stop shop to be able to gather information from across the Microsoft ecosystem to make sure you're getting the most out of the new, different new services like Copilot or Teams or SharePoint, things of that nature. We have new updates on our Leading in the Era of AI page. That's where you can really build your leadership and communication skills for this era. We talk about technology a lot, but it takes good leaders to get an organization through a change like this. And it's a tremendous opportunity. So we publish stuff like that there. There's new Copilot sessions in the hub there for customer hub sessions. That's where you can get training. It is English only at this point in time, but they are translated in different languages after the fact. We have new resources for Loop. You're going to want that link right there, that link to the Loop resources, especially after you see Adam's fantastic presentation. And we have updates to the Copilot transcription management white paper. So there are release notes on adoption.microsoft.com, which you can also keep up with. We have a release every Thursday, trying to keep up with everything that's going on. And then we usually have releases at our major events in the spring and the fall. So make sure you're bookmarking adoption.microsoft.com so that you can take advantage of all those free resources. Like I always say, never start from scratch. Because there's usually a deck that someone at Microsoft has created on the topic you want to talk about. Quick reminder here that Microsoft Build is coming. Oops, let me go back here. And Microsoft Build is going to happen May 19th through 22nd. It is also digital, right? So you should definitely go and register, especially if you're interested in building solutions of any type. It's fantastic. We always have plenty of announcements. It's one of our major flagship shows. And so that we do a lot of announcements about the ecosystem and extensibility at this show. And make sure you're also saving the date for a Microsoft Ignite, which is going to be November 17th, 2025. That's going to come to you from lovely San Francisco. So maybe you could even come and visit us. We will both be there, Heather and myself, plus my whole crew at Microsoft Ignite this fall. And of course, that's going to be very busy and very fun event, which is also digital. So if you can't travel, that's okay. We'll love to see you in the digital experience online for either of those events. We always have these fantastic subcommittees that are doing so much work, and these are led by not Microsoft people from our board, and they are doing a tremendously good work out there. And I believe we have some folks with us today, and I have folks come on to camera if they want to give their update. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and hop through. There's a lot going on in the communications work stream, especially with our move to the MTC. And so what they do is they make sure that there's lots of new communications. They handle the newsletter, all sorts of great stuff that is happening there for the communications work stream. So thank you to Jennifer and Isadora. And this is a work stream you can volunteer for too. The regional leaders and the board officers lead the work stream, but it's a great place definitely to do it. And I see Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how's it going? You're on mute.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Fantastic. I will get to yours. You want to do a little update for your work stream, and then Tom will have yours as well.
Yep. So we're looking at sponsorship. Where do sponsors come from? Who are they? How can we match sponsors to events? And at the moment, we're looking at kind of getting something together to share that information. There are only four of us, actually, Emily's missing from the list, in the sponsorship and sponsors subcommittee. We are open to other members. If anybody wants to join, has some great experience around running events, knows more about sponsorship, so that we can help. This is community helping community, right? What's the best way to do it? What are the things to worry about? What are the things to not worry about? And how can we get that information out of all of the community members that we know and over to everybody who's starting to think about events? So that's really what our focus is at the moment.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Sharon. Yeah, joining a subcommittee is super fun way to learn more. And plus you get to meet these awesome people who are very fun to hang out with in the subcommittee. So you'll have a good time if you do that. I think now I'm going to turn it over to you, Tom. You have lots of things going on communitydays.org. And for our new folks out there, communitydays.org is where you can navigate to find all of the events that are happening around the world. These are these free community days and other types of events, free training, and so much fun. And it was the brainchild of Tom Daly, who is one of our MGCI officers. And he runs the team that keeps all the lights on and all sorts of new fun things. Tom, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Caruana. We have a lot. So we have a lot of things coming out. I'm just going to highlight some of the really amazing pieces of functionality that we have here. So based on feedback we've had from MVPs and other speakers out there, they wanted to have deep links to their sessions so they can copy and share those links. So we've added that on the pages that have all of the speaker sessions, so they can copy and paste and share with their friends. We've kind of done a couple of like maintenance issues with the slow performance on events pages because we're growing. We have a lot of events. We have to kind of optimize and tweak things. We changed the Twitter logo out finally to X. We've kind of just reviewed our event creation process and made sure we have the right documentation in there, and we're always constantly making that better. So thanks again for a lot of the feedback that we're getting for the event creation. If you have helped us in, whether it's a bug request, feature, just talking, testing, you get added to the site as a contributor, and so you'll be up there for 90 days. But if you continue that conversation and helping out, like you'll just stay up. You can stay up there indefinitely if you really want to. We're always looking for helpers. So yeah, if you sign up for the teams and the tech and tools, then you'll get routed to me. Let's see, speaker board images, wrong asked another maintenance thing. So the real cool things are, so we had a defect. That's not a cool thing. A lot of this is maintenance release, handling large amount of co-organizers. If you really organize a lot of events, it crashed out after reaching 50 or so organizers. So we fixed that. We also fixed the run events. So if you're using run events, you used to have to wait for your sessions and speakers to show up after you publish your agenda. So now it works both ways. Like if you have speakers, they'll show up. If you have sessions, they'll show up. Now all of these things are out there right now. What are we working on? So we're working on a couple of really, really great things. Subscribing / notifications. I think it's going to be called notifications or alerts, but basically creating a digest of events. So if I want to see new events, I can create a subscription or notifications schedule, and it will just email me when those new events come out, once a month or twice a month. Same thing if you're looking for speaker opportunities or sponsor opportunities, and you can pick different geographic regions or you can pick the whole world. You can be notified, and so we'll send you an email when things are starting to happen so you can come back, get more information. Address map API. So if you're an event organizer, you can just literally type in your address. We're going to integrate with Azure Maps to pull in your address and plot your latitude and longitude. We're still working on changing time zone. The big thing here that we're working on is we're moving to a new database. So we are upgrading to Cosmos DB because we're using Azure Table Storage and it's running out of, it's just falling flat. So we have to go to a real database solution. And then up next, what we know about so everybody that's here, we've talked about it a few times, the site migration. So the community tenant is going away and that's where we live. So we have to get out of there. So we're actively in the process of migrating. And so we're migrating, like our internal communications. Right now we're on Teams. We're not sure where we're going to go yet. And then we're going to be moving to a new tenant, which is already kind of set up. We're just in the process of moving all the parts. So that's it on the event. If you go to can I go to the next slide, or am I? There we go.
I got it for you.
Okay, cool. Just real quick. So if you missed last month, we did roll out a sponsorship update, sponsorship rotator on the homepage. So if you're using our mechanism for sponsors, it'll just nicely show them on the homepage. You just put the logos in there and you approve them, and then they'll just show up there. Sponsor form updates. So again, another great piece of feedback. Sponsor form's way too big. Sponsors just want to get information, right? They just want to make that connection. So if you click apply to sponsor, we now give two options. The quick form, I just want more information, or the full form. So there is, so you're on the right side here is the quick form, just name, email, how do you want to be contacted, phone, and a message. And that'll go right to the event organizer team, and they can reach out and start that conversation. All right, next slide. Again, profile enhancements. You might have seen this in the last one. We are now showcasing. So if you're an organizer, we're showing you up there on your profile. If you're a speaker, we're merging. We're doing some crazy stuff behind the scenes, merging Sessionize and run events together. And we have some automation that detects all these things now, and we're merging them. So if you're a speaker, it shows up. So if you're on the speaker board, you click on your face, it'll go to your profile, and you can see all this information right there. And if you're running events, we really highly encourage you to wire up the Sessionize or the Run Events key, because it really contributes to this whole, the system that we're building here. And a lot of speakers are asking for it. So if you are running events, make sure to do those keys. And if you don't know how to do that, just reach out for help. You can, file it, go click contact on the website, and I will help you get through that. Okay, and the last thing, so we did some sharing mechanism. So we have share buttons on each of the events, so you can quickly share to whatever network. Well, we put all the popular ones in there. So, if there's something that you're looking for, please feel free, just reach out, and we're listening to all the feedback.
Always so many great features getting developed. And just a reminder, folks, Tom does all of this as a volunteer. He is a volunteer. He does not work for Microsoft. He loves the community. He runs a great event on the East Coast in New York City. And he's done fantastic work. We are happy to support. So thank you, as always, Tom. We love the site. It is everything and more we hoped it would be at the beginning. So thank you for that so much. Great work.
Oh, last slide. Yes, our wonderful volunteers. So we have a huge array of volunteers. And how do they get there? Just reach out. They give their event organizers, their users, their people that are just suggesting feedback. So feel free to, again, go through the site, reach out. If you're on tech and tools and you're in our team, just contribute with testing, and it'll get you up there. And then Absolutely. I can't forget, if you are, we have an event this weekend, Microsoft 365 Philly. If you're there, come say hi.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. Yeah. And we have our communication area all set up on the Microsoft Tech community. So questions, conversation, all those things. I put the link a couple times in the chat. You want to go over to that MTC and get yourself a profile there. And someone was also asking about it. They have an event coming up. How do they get training? I believe, Wes Preston, you are out there. This is your slide.
Yes. We've got all kinds of topics that we're covering in the next couple of months. So so we've got them up here on the schedule. And just so you know, if you're attending these meetings, we're not sucking the whole thing up with slides. We're basically doing a 15-20 minute presentation, and then we spend a lot of time on Q&A. So Q&A about the topic that we're talking about, and then just anything in general. So it's just supposed to be a resource and a roundtable for people that are producing events, that want to produce events. Come and join the conversation, and we'll go from there.
Excellent.
I need to steal this graphic too.
We like that graphic. Fantastic. Well, we always appreciate you attending, but we want your feedback. So this is the moment where we remind you that this community is definitely led by all of you. So give us your suggestions, give us feedback on this month's meeting, and let us know how we're doing. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move over to our main topic. We are so excited to have Adam Salab with us. He is a longtime community member, Microsoft certified trainer, an OG of the Microsoft Loop space. He is going to share all his knowledge with us today. So happy to have you here with us. And, it's people like you who make the community awesome. Thank you for giving your time. I am going to turn it over to you. You can take control of the presentation and go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Caruana. If you can scan this QR code there and fill the form, it's a quick survey to just steer me how deep on one or the other of the topics to go. That would be appreciated. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
I love people to see your fantastic background and MCT since 2005 and involved in the SharePoint space since 1998. You were rivaling me for OG status there in the SharePoint bubble. That's pretty impressive.
We walked in the same circles for many years.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And your amazing work at the university. So, this is fantastic.
Right. So this is what I see here. Occasionally, most people and Copilot. Oh, wow. I'm impressed. Lots of Copilot users in here. And Loop. All right. I only got 4%. I was going to go on and on about Loop, but I guess a bunch of you are familiar with it. But before we start talking about Loop, actually, let me just step back a little bit and share my journey over the past 2 years. I'm sure has been the same for a lot of you, and what I call our new desktop. And that is this. Microsoft365.com. For those of you who have been around this space in the cloud, this has had many brands, many names, Office.com, Office365.com, OneDrive, so many different names, but now I think it has landed here, Microsoft365.com, and this has a web version and the same web version essentially wrapped around in an app. You all see my screen, first of all? Thumbs up, some of you at least.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So we have this, again, it has gone, as I said, through a few iterations of branding and logo changes. But if you look down here, I have it installed on Windows. You can get it from the Windows store. And this is what it looks like. I want you to focus on the left-hand side here. You will see that we've got Home, we've got Copilot, Pages, etc., etc. So this is your sort of the equivalent of the Windows desktop in the 365 space, and all our apps. This is controlled by your organization if you are part of an org tenant, and you may not see all the apps that I have, or you may see more. This is controlled by the organization's global admins. But this is it. This is where all the new or renewed apps are. You can see some of the familiar ones like PowerPoint, Project, and so on. There are the newer ones, Power Apps, Power Automate, etc. OneNote, take note, special note, pun intended there of that one. We've got Planner. For the purpose of today's discussion, I'm going to focus on Loop. Obviously, that's the primary concern, but it all very closely ties into Planner, Outlook, and Whiteboard. For those nerds in the room or around the globe, in this case, Clipchamp and Loop are two of those products who sit on top of the same platform. That's the new partition of SharePoint we call SharePoint Embedded, and that's a product I love and I'm intimately aware of. Copilot is the new kid around the block, and it's the real Copilot, the smarts behind the whole thing, helping us do all kinds of wonderful things. That is the starting point, and this can be customized. Obviously, when you go and add apps here, you can simply. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. You can pin those apps on the left hand side here, so that you've got your customized view, sort of like mine here. You can see the ones I've used frequently, Loop, OneNote, and so on are pinned here. And if you don't see all of them, it's probably hidden because there's no more real estate. This is you probably noticed it with the advent of new Teams, new app, new Outlook, and so on. Those are the exact same experience as the web, as a React app, essentially, again, for those interested in the nitty-gritty. So what is Loop? At a very high level, this is what it is, essentially. Loop is a system that integrates with a bunch of Office tools, or Microsoft 365 tools in this case, and it has three main building blocks. One is workspaces. For those of you who are familiar with OneNote, this is the equivalent of a notebook. And then we have pages, which is pages, and pages are organized in a way that I'll show you in a minute. That's equivalent to the sections, if you like, in the OneNote. For again, I keep referring to OneNote because OneNote is still appreciated and a great product, but this is the new incarnation, so to speak, or the future-proofed version of OneNote, if you like. A different technology, different platform, but a similar functionality in a much sexier package, if you like. Component is the key. Component is what gets me excited about this whole thing, and that's how this product is integrated throughout the 365 space. So without further ado, let me just jump in real quick here. Where do you start using Loop? I would say anywhere, and at least right now, I think this is going to expand, but at this point, as it stands, it's available in the following. So let's see here. When you go into your calendar, whether you start in Outlook like I'm looking at here, or you start in Teams, which is the same calendar behind the scenes as an Exchange, one of the things that you may or may not have noticed is this. When you schedule an event from the calendar, basically you go in and say start a new event. At the bottom here, there's this new addition called Add Agenda. If you click on that, what you just did is you basically invoked Loop. Simple as that. And what happened there is this box here is what we call the Loop component, right? And this is, again, the same whether you're doing it from Outlook calendar or you're doing it from slightly different in Outlook. As you can see here, the experience is different. You get to select individual components here, whereas in Teams, which is cloud native product, you'll see the experience slightly different. Again, speaking of experiences, the experience here and in the web interface may be slightly different. But that's essentially how we start engaging Loop. Furthermore, if you go into, let me go back to Teams here real quick. And if you go into our conversation here, if you look at the bottom there, you probably noticed it or not, but there's this little thing, and that is Loop. And right now, I just started hello global. Oops, if I know how to type, and I go do that, what just happened is I created and shared the Loop component into which you all can say hello and collaborate, and it's going in the back end and being stored. right? So that is how you engage loop. From multitude of places I could go on. There are so many. This is effectively a 3-hour lecture that I distilled for this group. You can see here, this is whiteboard. Now, for the purposes of our main topic today, which is how do you use these collaboration tools for organizing events, in my mind, in addition to starting a calendar event where we invite everybody concerned, this is where it would all start, whiteboard. And as you know, whiteboard has a bunch of templates that you can choose from and so on. I already prepared this one for the purpose of this conversation, but the integration is still up and coming, and it's probably going to be all good like Teams and Outlook there. But in order for you to use whiteboard with Loop effectively, you got to have Copilot for 365, right? Which is a paid license product, whereas all the others that I mentioned so far are part of your A3 or E3 license that you have access to. But for this particular, after you create this beautiful collaborative board, then you can go ahead and ask Copilot to summarize it for you, which is what's really good at. And what is going to happen here is it's going to create a nice summary of all the sticky notes there that you see, and it will create, you guessed it, a loop component. And get familiar with this logo here. You will see it popping up everywhere. And what happens when I click on this guy, it's going to take me to the actual product, which is Loop. And as you can see, it brought this nicely in here. And that applies to Copilot anywhere. That was the other takeaway from this. So if I go to Copilot and here, in my 365, or there's also Copilot that you can download and install on your desktop. And you can see here I've got work and web. If I say, tell me about the wonderful MGCI and ask Copilot to it's doing its magic now, doing the search and so on and so forth, and bringing all that and putting it in here. And once it produced the results, you will see this little thing here called editing pages, which is the same as up here, as you can see, open recent pages. As you all know, with Copilot and other GPT-based auto-generators, the LLM-based generators, what happens is, depending on so many parameters, you may not get the same result every time you ask the same question. But if you like what you've seen now, the best thing to do is to go ahead. In the old days before this integration, I used to literally copy this and paste it in OneNote or Loop pages myself. But now, thank you, team, they have done the integration for us. If I click on this, it will again, guess what? Create a Loop page. Slightly different terminology, but ultimately boils down to the same. And where is this, you might ask? It is down here on the left side. So in Microsoft 365, our new desktop, and that's my lingo, not Microsoft's, you'll see this thing called Pages. And Pages here are essentially the Loop pages. And how do you know you are in Loop, even if it doesn't say so? On the top right corner here, you will see these three magical buttons there. One is that says show the shared locations. This is copy component, and this is share. You can share a copy. If I were to copy this component, a quick way to disseminate that, there is permissions and so on, so we can go on and on. But if I go copy this and put it in our chat there, you won't have access to it because this is in my tenant, but essentially what it does is it goes ahead and renders that component in here like it did with this one. Content cannot be shown right now. Okay. Yeah, you can have a laugh at that. where are these pages then, in addition to this? I mean, how do I show it in the actual Loop product? Right here, if you go into Loop, and that's the new URL. You'll notice a lot of those who have seen the transition as well in the cloud, you will see that a lot of the Microsoft products are moving to the standardized. Microsoft now is a top-level domain. We don't have .com anymore. You'll see .cloud.microsoft. A lot of those products are moving to this, including Forms and many others. And you will see that Loop is loop.cloud.microsoft. And if you have it in your tenant, if you type this in your URL in your browser now, you should be able to see something similar to what I see here. So stepping back a little bit then and give you an overview of Loop. Now that we've seen where you can engage it and the different integration points, this is what it looks like. It may not look this crowded when you're starting. You probably have My Workspace to begin with. Workspaces have to be enabled by your admin in the organization. They are not by default enabled, but Pages are, because as you've seen, Pages are used everywhere, including Copilot and so on and so forth. So Workspace is sort of like your, I'm going to pull up this for those who are familiar with OneNote. We have these notebooks. That's the Workspace. Their equivalent in Loop is these workspaces. Workspace, for those who are interested in under the hood, is essentially a site collection. Sort of like OneDrive site that sits inside SPE or SharePoint embedded. It creates what we call a container. And that contains a bunch of pages. And as you can see here, the navigation is on the left-hand side. You get all your workspaces. In the middle here, you get the individual workspace that I'm in right now. I created this literally this weekend for the purpose of this event, and it's just fantastic and easy to do. And these are the pages. The way they are organized is basically you create a page. I'm gonna call this test. And you can start working here. Why do I like Loop so much? I mean, have I sold it enough? I think so, but if you are not sold yet, this is why I love Loop. You can see here, these are all the types of objects you can integrate into. Again, there are these external integrations like Jira, Trello, and GitHub. Those require configuration and permission by the global admins and so on. But out of the box, you can do all of these. This is evolving. This time last year, there was a very limited amount of this. Today, we have got all these guys. One that really excites me is this. Mermaid. Those of you, again, who are familiar with Mermaid Live, it's a JS library that we used for a few years now, 3 years, I think, that allows you to create charts in here. All kinds of amazing stuff. This is very useful for documentation, project related, or code related, or all kinds of ways you can use that. I could go on and on about this, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you a glimpse into what I did. Again, this is all just this weekend using Loop. You can have collapsible regions. You can have these. The entire presentation that I created was instigated here, and I just copy pasted the content into PowerPoint, as you probably noticed from seeing these, right? So it's really powerful. In terms of what you can do with it. Just to link it back to the pages generated by this, tell me about MGCI that I just did. All the pages from the pages section, I hate this bar on the top is blocking me. Out here, this pages that you see is under My Workspace. Right. So if you go loop again, these are all the workspaces that I have, and my workspace is where all the pages on that left bar. Sorry. This one here on the left bar, these pages essentially go into your workspace, right? So how do we organize our events using Loop? And that is what I wanted to focus on a little bit. The several touch points, as you've seen here, we've got the whiteboard, we've got the Teams, you've got the Outlook, and all those are going into pages, as you can see, and those pages are in my workspace. So step number one, what I do, that's my process, but you're welcome to adopt it or improve on it. Please ping me if you like, and let me know. We create a workspace. That's the first thing. So you come up here and you go ahead and create a new workspace. That's the first thing we do. Of course, we don't proliferation of workspaces. That's just general best practice because, as I said, they create containers and dedicated sites and so on. But if I were to call this MGCI event and give it a few, you can customize it a little bit. You can go check those Loop courses or lectures that Caruana pointed earlier. If you have Copilot, you can use Copilot in here, as you can see, Copilot for 365. You can also use templates. So out of the box, this is growing again. This didn't exist this time last year. You see we have a whole bunch of page templates to choose from. And all that is basically a bunch of those. I did slash and I showed you the things you can insert. These are some of the things that you can insert into a page, right? So you start with some of those. I created the skeleton right here, a community event that I propose, and that's described in detail here in the PowerPoint slides. I won't go through all of it, but to summarize what I walked you through, by the way, that's Loop. You can start in Team, Whiteboard, Planner, and so on, and it's in Copilot. Those are the things I just walked you through. So for an event perspective, we step back a little bit to theory here. Again, standard practice. This can be debated, but that's not really the main topic here. I'm no communications specialist. I'll defer to Caruana in that. Ideation, brainstorming, detailed planning. The brainstorming part, we obviously would use something like the whiteboard or any other tool that you like. We prefer whiteboard. It's integrated, it's with Teams and so on. And then we do collaboration and planning. For that part, we can use a combination of project if you have it. Planner is tightly integrated with Loop as well, and so on. Promotion communications, that is essentially you, and you, but you can use Loop to create. I'm going to close this. I keep picking it up. So in here for the promotion communication, you can go ahead and create, I don't know, this is Mermaid, by the way. Mermaid is just fantastic. I can go on and on about it. If you take nothing out of this, take Loop plus Mermaid. Of course, all the other great collaboration tools that you're already paying for. I won't dwell on those, but you can create a bunch of pages here. And the way I organize these pages is really simple. Unlike in the case of OneNote, for example, we had to go through a few clicks. Here you can simply drag and drop and you reorganize your content. I spent a bit of time organizing this. I'm going to put it back, but it's literally drag and drop. So you create a page at any level, and then you go ahead and simply drop it where it belongs. When it's a box around it like this, will become a child of that, or take it over and make it a sibling of that in a tree hierarchy, right? So that is,
Adam?
Yes.
Adam, I just wanted to, we were having this conversation in the chat. Will you show how you can copy a component like from one place to the other and it stays connected? We were talking about in the chat how it's so good for being able to bring people together in a Teams group chat or an Outlook or what have you, and it's still here. Will you show that to everybody because it's so cool?
Absolutely. Thank you. So So once you create this, or you are in the process of creating it, so let's say I created this shell for all of you, and I wanted to invite you to come and collaborate on it. One thing I should note is a page is a page, and I could nest pages in here, for example. As you can see, this is a component, and as I said, a component is this boxed thing. Ultimately, this is a page, right? A component is essentially one page that is packaged with a bunch of stuff around it, so we can share it. How does that work? I can simply come in here and say, you have several ways to share. You can share an entire workspace, remember, a page or a component, and those are the three ingredients. A component is essentially the packaging mechanism. The component, so how did I do that? I simply share loop component, or let's just focus on that. And then you have a bunch of settings here. Creating this sort of like sharing a OneDrive file, very similar. It's actually the same mechanism with slightly inverted permissions mechanism. So you can either say everybody, like this is my university tenant, as you can see here, go SFU, if you have people that you shared it with, fine. If not, you can specify who you're going to share it with. And not only that, there are all kinds of governance mechanisms built into it. You can put an expiry date on it. You can specify what people can do and who are the people. I can simply go ahead and select the individuals via email, and that will send it to them in an email as well. But let's say I shared it with everybody in my organization here, none of you, unless some of my colleagues are in here, I send the invite. I'll say apply. What just happened is it copied the URL to that component with all that information embedded. And this is nothing new. It has been done for many years in different platforms. So if I were to go back into Teams now, and just paste that, what is going to happen is, it's taking its time here. Okay, let's not put it in Teams. Let me put it in. And Teams, essentially, when I put it here, it should render it. But you can see the URL as it's expanded right now, that nonsensical string at the end has all that information bundled in there. Who can access it, for how long, all that information is in there. But I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit of an eye exam here.
If you hit it, if you hit enter, it'll render for you.
No, I wouldn't. I would push it into the chat, but it wouldn't render. It would render automatically as soon as I put it there. That's my expectation. It does it, except now for some reason, I guess. I'm actually in a different tenant. That explains.
Yes,
that.
That's why.
Yeah. So actually, let me just show it to you because it's really beautiful. I tell you, I get goosebumps still from talking about it. So in here, if I were in my own chat, for example, in my tenants, and I'm gonna start a new one, and I paste that here. Voila! This is what I expected. So as you can see, the tenant, the user, the consumer doesn't even have to go to Loop. They can actually collaborate on it here, simply going and working through it, editing, etc. And this is happening in real time across all the different products, right? So they could be doing it in a reply to Outlook, and they could be doing it here in the chat, and the chat could be a group chat or a team chat. But what I wanted to... Say what?
Adam, we're at time, so I want to.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. This is a very deep topic, but I think I hope I gave you a sort of a teaser for you to explore it some more. But this is sort of the different areas where we will share these slides. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially what I broke it down to is these are the main things we do in an event, and you can organize all those in a Loop workspace. And then I drilled down a little bit on how each persona can use those different aspects of it, and some of the best practices when it comes to designing Loop and so on. Those are, again, just my suggestions from my readings and the many years of dabbling in sharing content.
We love that. We love that. I'm going to reshare here. Definitely make sure that you connect with Adam out on LinkedIn and in our community. Please give us feedback on the meeting today. We really appreciate that. Loop is a fantastic topic, and it's one of the newer and will continue to be quite important components of the collaboration stack for Microsoft 365. So especially for those of you using Copilot Chat, the included version, or if you're licensed for Microsoft 365 Copilot, being able to create those pages is so useful. It's wonderful. Make sure that you are giving us that feedback. Hopefully you're seeing my screen now as well. And we want you to stay connected. So don't forget to go out to the Microsoft Tech community. You can find us out there. Continue to ask any more questions that you happen to have of Adam or any of us. And if you want to get involved in any of our subcommittees and things of that nature, we are so happy to have you with us all the time. We will be making sure to share the recording and share the deck. And these are the kinds of things that you can expect to find at a community event that's near you. So visit communitydays.org and our Microsoft community on LinkedIn. Of course, it's hard to stay up to date nowadays, and that's why we have Mondays at Microsoft. Every other Monday morning, we'll be live with you for 30 minutes to give you updates on events and product roadmaps and Microsoft Big Rocks and everything that's going on in the Microsoft ecosystem. Heather and I do this show, and it's also available on demand on our LinkedIn and YouTube channels. So we hope you'll follow along with that and share that with your friends. And, always share your feedback. This community is by and for you, and we're just here to make sure it's meeting your needs. Thank you again, Adam. You did a great job. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your time and your knowledge and your love of Loop. And I will put in the chat one more link to our Meet the Makers series, which has additional training materials that we produced on Microsoft Loop. And you can use those videos in your own training programs that you have about Microsoft Loop. And so we always like people to get the most benefit that they can out of all the things that we create. And I did put earlier also in the chat the link to the M365 roadmap with all the Loop components selected, so you can see what's coming on the roadmap, just like the guest access, which is one of the things that is missing from Loop at the moment. So thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Adam. And we will see you all again in the community soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.